Hello, my name's Nikki Payne and I work for Balfour Beatty, and this is my colleague Anthony, who's going to tell you a little bit about his role at Balfour Beatty. So Anthony, hello. What is your job at Balfour Beatty?
Okay, so I'm a section engineer for Balfour Beatty. So basically I coordinate and control the quality processes, the program, how we're actually going to build it, and basically everything that we're going to do on site. And I do the engineering lead on that. So I take the drawings and check, that how are we actually going to build this? Can we actually build what's on the drawings?
Wow, fantastic. So actually it's quite an important role, isn't it, on site?
Oh yeah, it covers a lot of things. It's a very broad subject to cover as well. So I do things like the programming, quality control, obviously liaising with the stakeholders and also the subcontractors. I have to do that. And I work a lot with sort of, public liaisons as well. We get members of the public come in. So it's a very broad role, something that you really have to sort of get sunk into.
And actually quite exciting, because I imagine all day, every day is different.
Yeah, definitely. There's no 2 days are the same, and it's absolutely brilliant.
Fantastic. So when you were at school, what did you want to be? Have you always wanted to do this, or what did you want to do something else at school?
Not at all. So when we first had sort of careers influence in school, which I think was when I was in sort of very early secondary school, it was always, what do you want to be when you're older and things like that. That's always the question everyone's asked. And initially I wanted to be a policeman, or, go into the police force, or become a fireman and things like that. And then it wasn't until sort of midway through secondary school I thought actually I might sort of go and join the army or go down the military route, which was sort of put upon me by my grandparents, because they were both military as well.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't until sort of when I started thinking about my GCSEs, I started showing an interest in like the sciences and the maths. Mainly, they are difficult subjects, but I actually enjoyed seeing something as a result, particularly in like physics and things like that. We did experiments like we'd sort of create electrical circuits with a potato and things like that. And I really enjoyed it, and I was like, wow, I kind of want to do this as a career, like do something I enjoy. And that's when it was actually suggested to me, why don't I look at engineering? Because I was very creative as well. I liked the arts and I liked graphic design and things like that. So then it was like, well, why don't you think about engineering? So I looked and I thought, well, all the different kinds of engineering. And I thought I could do architecture. And then I decided to actually become an architect.
Oh, right.
Yeah, because I thought I do like the design and I can get a bit of the physics in there and, actually get a hold of the design elements. And then it was then sort of when I'd finished my GCSEs and I thought, oh, actually, I kind of like the more sort of physical side of it. I like seeing things getting built, not necessarily looking at the design. And that's when I thought, you know what, civil engineering, brilliant.
Fantastic. And were you able to go and work with another company to see what it was like and get any
No,
work experience?
So what I did when I was at school is I did make sure that, so every opportunity that came up, I know, like I visited the Hethel Engineering Centre where they built the Lotus cars and things like that.
Yeah.
Just to sort of get a taste for the different kinds of engineering. And like we went to like research laboratories at the UEA and things like that, just to see what, just to get a feeler of what it was actually looked like. And yeah, so that really did sort of encourage me to go into engineering more than anything else. But then the biggest challenge was deciding what kind of engineering. And I thought, well, if I want the design, that's why I went into civils.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay, brilliant. So if I wanted to be an engineer, what would I have to do? What qualifications would I need, and what sort of routes would I need to go?
There are so many different routes now into engineering. It's brilliant. So I did a very, very traditional route. So I literally did GCSEs, A levels, university, applied for a grad scheme with Balfour Beatty. However, I know there are so many other people that have gone through different routes, because that route isn't for everyone. So yes, you need to have. You're not by no means never expected to be an expert at the maths and the sciences, but you are expected to, at least be able to research and figure things out for yourself, have that initiative.
Right.
I think it's the key element. So one, have really good initiative. And yes, you do need decent grades in, or just have a good understanding of the maths and science. But you're by no means expected to be a straight A grade student, as long as you can show good basic principles and a strong foundation. But yeah, so like I said, I mean, I went very traditional. So I did my A levels, I did physics, maths and media and graphics at A level. Then went on to study civil engineering at uni. But I'm working with people now, and there's so many different routes. Other people, they left school, didn't know what they wanted to do, and they went and did apprenticeships and things like that. Did a BTEC at college. and then go on to apprenticeships, and that's equally as good because you finish your apprenticeship, you get a degree paid for by the company.
Yeah.
You know, you then have 5 years work experience at the end of it. So you know, there's so many different routes. So it's yeah. But I'd say number one, if you want to become an engineer, you have to be able to show initiative and know how to figure things out for yourself.
Okay.
Then number two, you have to show a good foundation and understanding of the maths and the sciences. But like I said, it's important to remember you're not expected to be an expert.
Okay.
Yeah, and then number three, you've got to have drive. You need to be able to have that drive to get up and go in the mornings.
Yeah.
I'd say that is what makes a good engineer. Just constantly being proactive and showing good initiative.
Superb. That's absolutely brilliant. As you say, positive attitude. I think
Yeah.
a company can teach you lots of skills, and the skills you obviously learn when you're, you know, at college or university. But you have to have that positive attitude, don't you, as well?
And
Okay.
it's important to remember as well, like wherever you apply, whether you go on to do a BTEC or you know, a university course or whatever, they will always look at what you've done in your extracurricular as well. So it's important to show that you have got that get up and go, and that you know you can do things for yourself. Because at the end of the day, particularly in engineering, that's what companies look for.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So when you did, so you obviously did your degree.
Yeah.
How easy was it then for you to apply for Balfour Beatty and get the role at Balfour Beatty?
It was actually, I found it, so if you do a degree, you have an option to do a year in industry.
Okay.
And that's basically where you take a year out in the middle of your studies to go and work in industry for 12 months, and you get that experience and potentially have a job offer at the end of it. Now, what they didn't tell me is during my degree, I actually found it harder applying for a year in industry than I did applying for my graduate scheme.
Right.
So, yeah, so when I went for a year in industry thinking I wanted to get more experience, I applied to, I think, 5 or 6 different places, and I didn't get offered a single interview. But then when I applied to go onto the grad scheme, I applied to Balfour Beatty and I applied to 2 other places. I got offered an interview with all of them, and on all of them made it through to the 2nd and 3rd stages.
Superb.
So yeah, but I mean, particularly with Balfour Beatty, like it was a long process.
Right. Okay.
They have to make sure you're the right candidate because they're investing in you on the grad scheme.
Totally.
And you know they're going to invest that money and that time on you. They want to prove your commitment.
Absolutely.
So yeah, my process when I applied to Balfour all in all took about 3 months.
Okay.
Yeah, it was quite long.
Yeah. And I guess the final question is, would you recommend engineering as a career?
100% yes.
Superb.
Like undoubtedly yes. Like every day is different. You get to actually see things being built. You know, you're challenged every day, both sort of physically and mentally.
Yeah.
And you know, it's that sort of thing that keeps you going. And the people you meet and the places you go, just it speaks volumes. You know, it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
I guess you might get a real sense of achievement. You see something, you know, from the ground, you know, upwards, don't you? You've developed that, you've made that happen.
Yeah, you actually see a finished product, and you see something go from a 2D drawing to, you know, an actual real space. So like at the moment, I'm working on a pumping station, which sounds, I thought, oh no, it's just going to be relatively boring. It's a pumping station. But actually, now you start breaking down the elements. The fact is, we've dug a massive 10-meter hole in the ground. You know, we've put in 20-meter sheet piles. We're now trying to dig on the side of, you know, the biggest river in Norfolk. So which, you know, is tidal as well. So it's a constant challenge, but so rewarding, so rewarding.
Superb. Well, Anthony, thank you so much. That's given us a real insight into the world of engineering and Balfour Beatty as well. So many thanks indeed for your time.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much, Nikki.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.